This is the Terraform day 1 class. Okay, from today onwards we are going to start Terraform. Like whoever joining new, right? I already shared you the Devops demo link. I hope you have go through that video. If not, please go through it. You will get an idea of DevOps. So if you ask me what is DevOps, in simple, like in one line answer, I can tell DevOps is nothing but as a DevOps engineer, we need to deploy the application right in different environments. Nothing but like for suppose if there is a company, right? For suppose let's imagine there is one person who is like maintaining a offline business which he sells t-shirts. Now you want to sell the same t-shirts online, right? Same like Mintra type website he want to design. So what he will do, he will approach a software company to create that application. So as a DevOps engineer, whenever developer write the code, we need to take that code and we need to release that into the market as fast as we can. So for that we will use different types of tool to automate. So in childhood, I have purchased a cycle for a rent. I hope everyone has purchased it, right? In the same way in the companies also, if I want a laptop, okay, what I can do, I can purchase a laptop from market. I can use this laptop. But in companies, if we want to run the application, one laptop is not enough. Yes or no? We need a thousands of laptop. So if it is company was small, so purchasing thousands of laptop will be a huge amount. So that's the reason companies like Amazon, right, Google Cloud or Microsoft, they are telling that okay, don't purchase a laptop, take our laptop for rent. Okay, pay rent for us. So like how I've taken a cycle for 1 hour per day for practicing, and I just given to that cycle shop owner again after 1 hour. For that I have given some amount, nothing but in my childhood it is 1 rupee per 1 hour. Here in the same way, you can use any server from the Amazon, right? Or from Google Cloud, or it may be Microsoft. There are three companies which are providing, and these are the three companies are trending in the market. So there is a service called as EC2 which provide a system, nothing but a operating system for rent for 1 hour, depending upon your server, right? They will call it as server. Okay, whatever the system I'm talking about, they will call it as any given name called a server. They will take rent for, right? If I want to create a server, I can go here, I can click here. Okay, I can just go to instances, then after create, like that I can able to create like for one server. Okay, it's okay, I will go and I will click here. Okay, I will create a server. But if I want to create thousands of server, will this a good approach? No, not at all. That's the reason we have a tool called as Terraform. Using this Terraform, you can able to create any server easily within seconds. So this is the cheat sheet I already provided. I already texted you in your WhatsApp, right? Take a printout because we are going to use all these commands, right, in our whole journey. Okay, let's come back. I will just go back. Let's discuss about what is this. So need of infrastructure, nothing but I need have a servers, right? If I want to run my application, obviously I need a server. That's not called as an infrastructure. So in CI/CD pipeline, we need to create various test environments according to organization's QA policy. Nothing but a bunch of servers will call it as an environment. Okay, according to your company, I need to create a environment. Okay, which is called as test environment, right? According to organization's QA policy. Nothing but every company will have their policies, right? According to their policy, we need to create that particular server. Like that, I need to create some environment. Nothing but a 10 servers, a bunch of 10 servers. How I will do that? That's what we are going to discuss. To create test environment, we might also need to create virtual infrastructure on the cloud. I told you, right? We need to create a server on the cloud. or it is on hypervisor, that is VMware or Hyper-V. So to automate the infrastructure creation, we need some kind of tool, and this tool called as infra provisioning tool. So I don't want to create a server going into the dashboard, right? Manually, I don't want to do that. I want to create infrastructure using some tool. That tool we call it as infra provisioning tools. So depending upon the infrastructure used in the organization, we will have different tools which can help us in automating infrastructure creation. Like for suppose, if you are using AWS cloud, right? Right, if you are using AWS cloud, there is a AWS was designed a new tool called as cloud formation templates. Okay, this using this cloud formation template, you can create any resource using a code. Okay, like that, Azure will also have a ARM template. VMware is also as a VMware SDK. Okay, depending upon the cloud, you can use that particular tool to create the infrastructure. Infrastructure is nothing but whatever you will create in the AWS account, that's called as infra. So now what is the disadvantage here? If I want to create a server in AWS, I need to learn this. If I want to create a server on Azure, I need to learn this. If I want to create a server in VMware, I need to learn this. Nothing but three different tools. Okay, for learning itself, it will take too much of time. So for to resolve this problem, like to solve this problem, organization called as HashiCorp has came up with a tool called as Terraform, which can work with multi-infra providers. Nothing but you just need to learn a Terraform tool. Right? Once you learn the Terraform tool, you can create server on any cloud. It might be AWS, it might be Azure, it might be VMware. Right? Using single tool, you can create right on the multi-cloud. That's the advantage. So you no need to learn cloud specific tool. Okay. That's the reason in the market there is a huge demand for Terraform. Terraform supports AWS, Azure, and VMware. So before discussing this, we need to discuss about this procedural and declarative. So there is a team lead, okay, and there is a fresher and there is an experienced person. So how you will approach with the fresher? You need to explain whatever the work, everything you need to tell how it has to be done. But for experienced person, you no need to worry. You just tell, hey, this is the task, complete it. Okay, what has to be done? In the same way, in the automation also, there are two types. One is procedural, another one was declarative. In procedural, you need to define what, right, how it has to be done. In declarative, you just define what you want to create. That's it. It will automatically create. So Terraform is a declarative approach. Okay, Terraform is a experienced person, right? Using Terraform, we would use declarative approach to specify what our right infrastructure needs. Nothing but infrastructure as a code, which we will call as infrastructure as a code as well. Nothing but Terraform is very smart. Okay, Terraform is not a fresher. Terraform automatically create what you just need to define what you want. That's it. Right? Same example. For experienced person, you can tell what you want. For fresher, you need to tell everything. So if you see bash or shell scripting or PowerShell scripting, these are the comes under procedural approach. Terraform comes under declarative approach. Okay. So that's the reason shell scripting has failed. So this is the workflow of Terraform. Okay. You will create some configuration files. Using this configuration file, you will deploy a on multi-cloud. So what is this configuration file? What is the deployment? We will going to learn. So I told you, right, Terraform is cloud agonist because deploy to any cloud or virtual infra provider. Nothing cloud agonist, nothing but Terraform supports any cloud. Okay, I told you that we will write a configuration files in Terraform, and in the Terraform maintain how Terraform will communicate with AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. They will have some providers. Okay, AWS will have a provider, Azure will have a provider, some other clouds will have a provider. Using this provider, Terraform will communicate and it will create a infra on that particular cloud. What is this provider? Don't worry, we will learn. So Terraform integrates with different clouds through Terraform providers. So now how to install this Terraform? Terraform is an open source project developed in Google's Go language. Okay. Installing Terraform is much like downloading an executable on your system, adding it to your path variable and using it. Simple. So for Mac user, you need to install Homebrew. Okay. For Windows user, you need to install Chocolatey. I will show that. Don't worry how to install it. So provider, I told you, right? This specifies Terraform way to create infrastructure. Resource. Resources are the core elements of your infrastructure. What is this resource? We will discuss right away. Okay. So the input which we specify about resource are called as argument. Try to remember. Very important. When we create infrastructure using Terraform, they specify some outputs which call it as an attributes. What are the inputs you will pass? That call it as argument. Whenever you create using Terraform, you will get some outputs that we will call it as attributes. Okay, this I will repeat again this terminology. Don't worry. For the first time you will confuse, but slowly you will get it. So this is one. Another one was data sources. Data source. This helps us in querying information about resources from Terraform configuration. So very important. We will discuss after few days about data source. But remember, data source help us in querying information about resources from Terraform configuration. Nothing but whatever the resources available. A resources is nothing but in AWS cloud, whatever you create, that called as resource. Simple. If in AWS I have created a EC2 instance, that is called as a resource. I created a VPC, that is called as a resource. Whatever you create, everything will call it as a resource. So I just want an information about my VPC. You can use data source. So to fetch the information from the cloud, we will use data source. That's it. We will learn in depth in upcoming sessions. So writing a Terraform configuration file. I told you, right, we need to write a Terraform configuration file. Let's try to write some configuration file. So we need to specify, first we need to specify the provider. I told you, right, how Terraform will communicate using provider. So this is the syntax, right? You will use provider, name of your provider. You will pass argument and the value. I told you, right, whatever you pass, that's called as an argument. Okay. So we need to find a right resource from the provider. Okay, using provider you will communicate to AWS cloud. Whatever you are going to create, that call it as a resource. If you see resource, resource type, resource name, argument and value, argument and value. Whatever you pass inside this, call it as an argument. So I want to create a S3 bucket in AWS cloud. How to create that? S3 bucket is nothing but a type of Google Drive. Okay, how we have a Google Drive, same thing in S3 has provided one service which is simple storage service. S3 nothing but simple storage service. So if you say provider AWS and on which region you want to create. So what is this region? Region we will discuss in tomorrow. Don't worry. Today's focus was to I just want to show you some basic thing using Terraform. Resource, I want to create a S3 bucket. My bucket name, my resource name will be, right, my bucket, and my bucket name will be this is, and it should be private. I told you, right, private S3 bucket. So before creating anything using code, right, you need to know how to create that using a manual steps. You need to log into your AWS management console, search S3 and create a bucket. So that the same thing, if you want to use using Terraform, find the provider, okay, and create. I will show you all don't
ఇది
worry.
గుర్తుపెట్టుకో.
Okay, this is the Terraform workflow. Okay, first you will download the provider using Terraform init. Okay, then after you will apply it. After applying, it will create the S3 bucket. So first you will using Terraform init, it will download the required provider. Like for suppose I want to communicate with AWS account. So in order to communicate Terraform to AWS account, Terraform needs some provider. Using that provider, it will communicate. So first it should download the provider. Then after using apply, it will create. Using destroy, it will delete.
ఇది గుర్తుపెట్టుకో, తర్వాత మాట్లాడుకుందాం. ఇది గుర్తుపెట్టుకో.
So the meaning was, remember this, we will talk about this later. So whatever the workflow I have told you, right, we will talk this again briefly. So now how to create an S3 bucket in AWS cloud using Terraform code. First you need to create any folder and create some empty file, main.tf file, and you need to install Terraform extension from Archicop. So if you are using Windows or if you are using Mac, if you have a VS Code, right, go to the plugins and search for Terraform and install the Terraform plugin. I will show all this practically after completing this slide. Then after you need to install AWS CLI. To install AWS CLI in Windows, this is the command. For Mac, this is the command. So then after you need to create IAM user. Okay, you need to collect access key and secret key. Okay, in order to communicate to AWS cloud from Terraform, how it will communicate, it should have a credentials. So credential is nothing but here access key and secret key. You need to configure that. So after configuring, you can execute Terraform init. I told you that whenever you execute Terraform init, it will download the providers. So it is downloading the providers. So whatever the Terraform code you have written, whether the code was written correctly or not, in order to check that, you need to use validate. Okay, Terraform validate. Success, the configuration is valid. So whatever the TF file you have written, it is correct. So if I want to create a S3 bucket, okay, this is the resource S3 bucket, right? Resource name and bucket name. If you want to have some tags to your bucket, definitely you can give the tag. Okay, and my bucket should be private. So now try to create the resources by executing Terraform apply. Whenever you execute Terraform apply, right, your S3 bucket will be created. Now you can go to the dashboard UI and you can check your S3 bucket is created or not. So if you execute Terraform apply again, right, so it will just throw a message, no changes, your infrastructure matches the configuration. Okay, refreshing state. What is this refreshing state? We will discuss briefly in upcoming sessions. So Terraform is idempotent, that is when you run Terraform multiple times to create the infrastructure, it will lead to same result, that is your desired state. Nothing but, like for suppose if the S3 bucket is already created, Terraform will not going to create, right? Terraform will not recreate it. If the S3 bucket is already present, it will just throw a message for you. Hey, there is no changes. Okay, I'm not going to create that S3 bucket again. That's the beauty of this Terraform. That's the reason it is a idempotence. Idempotence is nothing but simple. If I have a calculator, if I add 2 plus 2, I will get 4 as a output. Even if I enter 1000 times, I will get the same output. Yes or no? Terraform is also like that. Terraform will not do mistake at all. If the infra is already present, if the S3 bucket is already created, even though if you apply multiple times, 1000 times, it will just show you the same message. S3 bucket is already created, I will not going to create. Yes, if the S3 bucket is not present, definitely it will create. So this is the Terraform workflow. First you will use Terraform init to download the provider, Terraform validate to check what are the code you have written, it is correct or not. Okay, using Terraform apply, you will create the infra on the cloud. Using destroy, you will delete the infra, right? Using Terraform show, you can see. So these things we will discuss, don't worry. So next step, tomorrow I will explain what is this region, like what is this availability zones, what is this VPC, everything we will discuss in tomorrow sessions. So that's it for today. I just want to show you how to install this Terraform, okay, in Windows. So I told you, right, this cheat sheet help you a lot. Try to download that. So first thing what I need to do, first I will open my Visual Studio Code. If you are using Windows or Mac, you might have a Visual Studio Code, right? Your first job was to go to your Visual Studio Code. You can see here, right? Extensions, click on this extensions, search for Terraform. Okay, Archicop Terraform. Archicop is a company who has created this Terraform. You can see multiple downloads. I already installed this. That's the reason I'm not getting install option. So you will get an install option. Click on that install option. Whenever we write a Terraform files, it will help us while writing that Terraform configuration files. If you have done mistakes, it will help us. That's it. Okay, now I want to install Terraform. Okay, to install Terraform, I told you, right, first you need to install a Chocolatey in Windows. If you don't know how to install Chocolatey, just search, right, install Chocolatey on Windows using CMD. Okay, you will get official documentation. Go here. Okay, here see installing Chocolatey. Okay, it is telling to copy this. Okay, just copy this. Run the following command. Right, paste the copy test in your shell and press enter. Okay, what I will do, I will just open my PowerShell. Okay, right click here, run as administrator. Yes. Okay, whatever I copied, I will just paste. Just enter. Okay. So warning, Choco was found at. So my Chocolatey was already installed in my system. So that's the reason Choco was found at. Okay. Our Chocolatey was already installed. So that's the reason it is not, it is just throwing a message for me. If you are running for the first time, right, for you it will install. Okay. Once the Chocolatey was installed, I told you, right, we need to install AWS CLI. So Choco install AWS CLI. AWS CLI is also already present. Okay, it will not install. Then after you can install Terraform as well. Terraform is also already present in my system. It will not install. Okay, simple. You need to do this. Software will be installed. Okay. Now what I will do, I can use PowerShell as a terminal, or even I can use Git Bash as well as a terminal. Now what I will do, let's create some folder here. New folder, Terraform class. Okay, there is a typo, not from, it's FORM. Okay, new folder, day 1. Okay, I will just open with code. I will open a Visual Studio Code. Now I will write a configuration file. I told you, right, using configuration file I will create a new folder here which is S3. So inside this folder I will create a new file called as provider.tf. Okay, in the same folder I will create a new file called as main.tf. Okay, here I need to define the provider because using provider it will communicate. Here I need to provide the how to create an S3 bucket. So if you don't know what is provider, just Terraform provider. Okay, you will get a official documentation. So if you see official documentation, go here to official documentation. So you can see these are the providers supported by Terraform. Okay, Terraform supports AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, right, Alibaba, Oracle Cloud, Kubernetes. There are multiple things Terraform was providing. This is the supported. Okay, if there is no not present, like for suppose if the AWS is not present in the provider section, so that AWS is not supporting by provider by Terraform. Okay, whatever the providers he has defined, only that thing will supported. Okay, now so if you see providers configuration language, I will go here. So this is the example. So Terraform provider, just enter AWS. Okay, okay, this is the provider. I will just copy this. Okay, until here I will copy. You no need to remember anything. Okay, I will just go to provider, paste. Okay, Terraform required provider AWS, right? Source, this is the source archicop/AWS, version is 5.0, nothing but my provider version. Okay, and my provider is AWS. So first you need to download the required provider, then after you need to define a provider AWS on which region you want to create. I want to create on a region called as, what is this region we will discuss tomorrow. AP South. Okay, my sessions will be total practical. Okay, don't expect any theory, right? AP South 1, nothing but Mumbai region I want to create. So what is this regions concept we will discuss tomorrow, don't worry. Now I don't know how to create an S3 bucket as well. Just search Terraform S3 bucket. Okay, you will get official documentation from Terraform. Terraform only recommending to use official documentation. Okay, Terraform was created a official documentation. Terraform is recommending us to use this. Okay, I will just copy this. That is the example. So these are the multiple options you have. You can use these options depending upon your requirement. Okay, I will just go here in the main.tf, paste. Okay, before creating anything you need to know how to create manually, right? What I will do, I will go to my AWS management console. What I have told, you need to search for S3. Open link in new tab. This is a little bit confusing for you, but don't worry. we are going to learn. I will just click on create bucket. Okay, what is your bucket name? My bucket name will be DevOps easy. Nothing but it's a drive, Google Drive. In the Google Drive, you will create a folders, right? Here, that folder we will call it as a bucket. DevOps easy DE, and the bucket name should be unique. All over the global, your bucket name should not match. Okay, I will just give DevOps easy DETF. Okay, so object ownership ACLs disabled. It's nothing but a access control list. Nothing but it's one type of protection. Don't worry, you don't need to understand this. And block all public access. Nothing but your block, like your bucket is private. In the Google Drive you can maintain private and public as well, right? Same thing. It's a private. I am blocking. No one can able to access this from internet. That's the meaning. So do you want to maintain versioning? Right? You can enable that. Ignore it. If you want to have a tag, you can add a tag, right? Here, if what are the tags we are defining? Same. So if you want to encrypt your S3 bucket, by default it's a server side encryption. So there are multiple types of encryptions in there in a S3 bucket, but don't worry. Okay, ignore. Just click on create bucket. So these are the things you will options you will get when you create a S3 bucket. Your S3 bucket is created. Super, right? Now same S3 bucket I want to create using Terraform. Okay, same S3 bucket, like while creating S3 bucket you will give the bucket name, right? ACL, it should be disable or enable, right? Then after you will give the tags. That's it, create a bucket. So same thing you will define while writing a code as well. Okay, what I will do, I will go to my GitHub. So whatever the class notes we will discuss, right, everything will be provided in the GitHub. Okay, once you enroll for this Terraform, right, I will give you the access. So right, whatever we have discussed on the day one you can check. So whatever the screenshots we have provided, everything will be, you will get step by step, right? How to install Terraform, every command was provided, you no need to worry. So provider AWS, right, S3 bucket. So if you see now you got it at ACL private. Same thing, right? I have written here. Did I done any magic? No. Now what I will do, I will go to the S3 bucket, just cancel. I will delete this. Okay, to delete this, just copy, delete bucket. Okay, there is no buckets was there. If you see 0, no buckets. Now I will go to IAM. I need to create an access key, right? IAM is a identity and access management. Nothing but whatever access related everything will be provided by this service. Okay, I will go to users. Okay, there is no users are there. I will create a new user. Username will be Terraform, and you should not next. You should not give. Okay, just click on next. Create user. So Terraform user is created. I will go here. So you need to go to security credential here. You can create the access key, but before getting access key I need to give a admin permissions. add permissions. Okay, attach policy directly. I need to choose this. I will just choose administration access. Nothing but you will have any admin access. Okay, add permissions. While creating the user only, you need to give it. I forget that. Now I will go to security credentials. Just create access key. Yes, using command line I want to use this. I will click on that. I understand. Click on next. Create access key. Okay. Now what I will do, I will go to day one. I will go to S3 bucket. Here I will just right click. I will take git bash here. You can use PowerShell or even git bash. Git bash is also one type of command line. Okay, I will just enter AWS configure. Okay, it will ask me for access key. Okay, I will just copy this. Shift insert. It will paste. Enter. Okay, then after secret access key, copy this. Shift insert. And default region, I will give AP SOUTH South 1. What is this reason we will discuss, don't worry. Okay. So ls minus lr th, nothing but it will list the files. So there are two files. First step, what you need to do, you need to download the provider, right? Terraform init. If you execute Terraform init, it will download the required provider. Okay. If you see initializing the backend, what is this backend? We will discuss in upcoming sessions. Don't worry. So it is downloading the provider. I told you the version is 5, right? It is downloading the AWS, right, provider from the official Archicop, right? If you see, it is installing Archicop AWS. So without this provider, it cannot able to communicate. First thing, you need to configure the credentials. Using that credentials, it will log in, right? In order to communicate, it need a provider, but in order to log in that, it need a credential. So for that, I already given the credential using AWS configure. Okay. Now if I go to my, let it download, it will take some time. You can download the CSV file as well. Okay. If you click on download CSV file, that your access key and secret key will be saved to your local system. Okay. Then click on done. So once you have used this, right, you can go and actions deactivate. Okay. Now the session is recording. So what I will do, I will delete this. Right. If someone else also can use this access key and secret key. So be careful. Don't share this access key and secret key with anyone. If you share this access key and secret key, nothing but you are giving a access to your whole account. So they can able to use that access key and secret key to create infra. Okay. Terraform has been successfully initialized. Okay. Everything was perfect. If you see, a .terraform folder will be created. So, right. So provider. Okay. Using this license, using this provider, it will communicate. Like this, it will communicate. You no need to understand this, but we will discuss multiple things about this. Okay, it is 519 MB. Oh, and there is a log file as well. What is this log? We will discuss. Don't worry. So, in order to check whatever the written code, is it correct or not? What is the command? Terraform validate. So it will go and check every file, main.tf and provider.tf. What are the syntax have written? Is it is correct or not? I just copied from official documentation. Did I done any magic? No, obviously, right? Success, the configuration is valid. Then after, if I want to create, I can use Terraform apply. It will create a S3 bucket. Okay. I will go to my S3 bucket. just reload, it will create a S3 bucket. But before creating, it will generate a plan. Okay, before creating anything, it will generate a plan. So before going for any trip, you will you will create a plan or not. In the same way, right, this is the plan. Okay, plan one to add. So what is that one? What are the output you will get? It is a JSON format. Okay, AWS S3 bucket, it is creating a S3 bucket with the tags dev my bucket. And what is the S3 bucket name? My TF test bucket. Okay, if you give S, right, then only it will go forward. Okay, just observe, it is creating, right, error creating S3 bucket, operation error S3 create bucket, HTTP response error status code, bucket already exist. Okay, I will try to create the same using UI. Okay, copy, create S3 bucket, bucket name. Okay, I will just click on create bucket. Right, bucket name must start with lowercase. Okay, I will just remove this. Bucket with the same name already exist. Okay, so you need to have, I told you that you need to have a name as unique. I will use -d. Now it is taking, right, I will go here, I will just give the name. So you need to maintain the unique name. That's what I am telling. All over the total AWS accounts, what are present. Right now I am working in my AWS account. Not only this, but in this account, on the global level, every AWS account, if someone was created, so someone was created with the name, with this name in their AWS account. So that's the reason it is telling it is already exist. The name should be unique. So now you got a error, right? Real time error. So what are the troubleshooting you have done using Terraform? Now you can able to explain that, right? Bucket already exists. Now shall we run again? Terraform apply. Now I've changed the file, right? Now it should create. So whatever the error I will get, right, I will explain that error as well, so that it will be like real time. Okay, now it is 42 minutes. So our session will be not more than 1 hour. Okay, you no need to worry about it. And everything will be practical. Don't expect theory at all from me. You can learn the theory from Google, but practical you cannot learn. I will just enter S. Now I should create. Even if it is not created, definitely I will troubleshoot. Okay, S3 bucket is creating. Super. Creation complete after 3 seconds. I will just reload. Yes, my TF test bucket DE, right, on the region called as AB South 1, it is created. Okay, I will execute Terraform apply again. What it will do?
So it will start creating infrastructure.
No, it will not create. If it is already present,
It won't create if exit.
yeah, if it is already exists, it will not going to create. Terraform is an idempotent, right? Refreshing state. No changes. Your infrastructure matches the configuration. Terraform has compared your real infrastructure against your configuration and found no difference. So no changes are needed. So if you see, a state file will be created, right? So what is the state file, right? Right? Your infra matches in refreshing state. Everything we will discuss in upcoming sessions. Okay. So again, if I execute again, I will get the same. Okay. That's what Terraform is an idempotent. It is like a calculator. You will get the same. Now what I will do? Okay, refreshing state, no changes. Okay, I will just delete this bucket. After practice, right? Don't leave it. I will delete this access key because session was recorded. First deactivate. Okay, inactive, okay, delete. Tomorrow I will explain, as I told you, right, as I mentioned in this slide. Tomorrow I will show you, right, what is VPC, what is region, everything we will discuss. Tomorrow you will be having a theory part, because you need to understand this region and all, right, some theories, some practical. Okay, I will stop the recording right away.